Hi, my name is Steph. I'm a graduated student from the Mirage Spa School, and this is my first video. Sorry if it's a little wonky, it's my first one. I had previously filmed everything, and my camera died, and then the laptop didn't want to work, and long story short, I'm redoing this video, a shorter version on my cell phone, so I'll try and do the best that I can. So the video that I'm doing is going to be a set of nails on, as you can tell, Mickey and Minnie inspired. So some of them have already been done since I was using my old video system, but I'll explain to you what I did and the products that I used. So I just used a basic white gel for the thumbs and the pinky there. And then for the index, I used the color Miss Canada from Spa One. So I went and gave it 3 coats. And then I used a basic white gel, and I used a dotting tool, just like this one here, to do the little dots here. For the Mickey and the Minnie faces, as you can tell here, there's some shading in there. So what I did is I used the Natural Buff, which is this one here from Spa One as well. And I also used the color Pure Chocolate and mixed it in with the white and the Natural Buff to get a lighter beige to do some shading work in here. And then all the black was done by Black Beauty. Now the part where my camera had died was for the bow here, so I'll show you exactly how I do these bows. So I'll try and set my camera. Actually, I'll ask my model to hold the camera. There we go. Just hold it. Okay. Okay, so basically, so basically for the bow, what you want to do is you want to take some red from Miss Canada, oops, like that here, and then you're just going to brush it on to some paper. So the paper I'm using is actually the backing of the strips of forms that you use to sculpt your nails. So basically what you want to do is do a very light coat of the Miss Canada, and do it about, I'd say maybe 1 inch by 1 inch wide. So you do one coat like this, take it, put it under your light, you're going to cure it for a minute, then you're going to come back again, do a second coat, again repeat the process, cure it. Then once you're done that part, what's going to happen is you're going to take your paper and you're going to go and gently peel it off, and it's going to give you something like this. So sorry guys. So you're going to have a little strip of paper, gel paper like this. So when you take it off the strip of paper, you have to be very careful because the back is still going to be wet. So you're going to have to go and put it back under your light and cure it for another minute just to make sure that it's nice and dry. Once you pull it back out of your light, it's going to be nice and pliable, so you can do pretty much anything you want with it. So I'm just going to set my camera down and show you how you do this part. Okay, so what you do is you grab your paper and you're going to fold it up just like that. And then you're going to grab your scissors. Okay, and then you're going to go and you're going to cut a V shape into your gel. Now, depending on what size of bow you want, I'm not going too big since it's for very small detail work, but you're going to go and cut another V into it. So it's going to give you something like this. And then what you can do afterwards is you can go in. Sorry guys. What you can do afterwards is you go in with your nippers, and if you have a little corner here sticking out like this, you can just go ahead and nip it off just to round out your bow. Okay, so like that. Then what you do is you grab some resin. You can use crazy glue as well, but resin seems to hold a little bit better, a little bit longer. So you grab a dot of your resin and you're just going to put that right on the tip here. And then you're just going to hold it and pinch it like that for a few seconds, just until it's solidified. Okay, so just to show you what it ends up with afterwards, you're going to get something like this. So this is one that I've already pre-made. That's going to be part of my design that I'm going to be finishing up. So you need two like this. So you're going to, once you've shaped your first bow and tied it down, you're going to grab another piece of your gel polish that's cured. You're going to fold it over again, and you're going to repeat the whole process again. Do about the same size as your first one. And then you're going to cut it and then glue it again in the corner with some resin. So that's how I got that part done. Okay, so now we are back to our Minnie Mouse. So what I did after that was set is I took some resin, glued it down, stuck a piece of the bow here, and then glued it down and put another bow here. Now this is going to be soft, and you want to make sure that your model doesn't hook it up after she leaves and breaks the bow off. So what you're going to do afterwards is I took some Spa 1 clear acrylic, and I'm using some liquid monomer. You don't want to use a very big ball of acrylic for this, just because it's going to run and leak into your design. So you're just going to go very lightly, grab a small amount, and then what you're going to do is you're going to stuff the hole. Now you don't want to make it too runny, because otherwise it will drip at the bottom there. So just start with a little bit at a time. Go back, get some more monomer, and dip your brush again. Now we're going to go in from underneath and just shove that inside the bow. So this is going to help solidify the actual bow once it dries down. You can also add some of the acrylic right here in the center to hold your bow down, and you can tuck some back here if you want as well. So let it dry a little bit, see how it's coming along. If you see you have more room, go ahead and put some more acrylic on the inside. Okay, just like that. Checking the back to make sure it's not running through the bottom. Okay, go back, add some more. Oops. Okay, just pat it in. And then once you're satisfied, and it looks pretty full at the top there and pretty full underneath, your bow's not going to go anywhere anymore. It's going to be there until you're ready to take it off when you come back for an infill. Okay, so once that part is done, what you're going to do is you're going to grab, I'm using a 180 grit nail file, and then you're just going to slowly just buff down the corners, just to make sure there's no sharp edges so that your client's not cutting herself on anything. That also, I find, it makes the bow look a little bit more natural, not as squarish looking. And same thing underneath. I'm going to go and file. Just go very gently so you're not scraping your design. And I'm using the odorless monomer, so you're going to see a little bit of a sticky layer coming off here. So just peel that off. And just gently shape your bow the way you want it. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then you can just use some alcohol here and just rinse it off. Just like that. Okay, so it's going to give you something like this. Then what you want to do is you want to cover, you want to go and cover the middle of the bow there just to add a little bit of a finishing touch. So you're going to go back and just take a piece of your leftover dried up gel. And you're probably going to use some tweezers or some nippers for this part since it's going to be a very small piece. So you're just going to go ahead and cut just a very tiny piece. Okay, so like that. You can always use tweezers too if you find it's just a little too hard to handle here. Okay, then what I'm going to do is go back with just a little bit of resin. This is just to make sure that my bow is on there right. So a little dot of resin in the middle here. And then I'm just going to grab my piece of bow in the center there. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to go back in with my nippers and just trim off any excess. It's a bit of a long process, but when you're done, it's worth it. It's a really cute look. Okay, just like that. And then what you can do afterwards is just tidy it up a bit and add just a little bit of clear acrylic in here. Okay, so that's going to hold your little bow in place there, just like that. Now you have the option of just leaving it clear, or you could do like I do. I actually prefer to hide the clear acrylic at the top there. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of the Miss Canada, and I'm going to go and just conceal the top here where the acrylic is. So you don't need to do this part, it's just optional. It just looks a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Okay, just like that. Okay, so you don't really need to do the bottom, it's not going to show. Then we're going to cure this in the light for a minute. Okay, and in the meantime I'll explain to you what I did on this hand. So I used the Black Beauty on this one for the base, and then what I did is I went in and drew some little Mickey heads. So you can use your brush, or you can use the pointers, your dotting tools. So you just do one dot here, and then you'll cure it first just to make sure it doesn't bleed into each other. And after that you're going to go back and do two more little dots here and just connect them together and then cure them. So that's essentially what I did for the Mickey heads. And then for Mickey's pants, I did a base 3 coats of the Black Beauty. And then I went in and you do halfway with the Miss Canada. So I did 2 coats of that one. And then I used a basic white gel and just painted in some buttons I like to have really fine detail in my work, so I grabbed a little bit of the white mixed in with Black Beauty, and I did a little bit of shading here in the buttons. So these two are very simple to do. For the Mickey Mouse, I use the Banana Cream by Spa One for my background, and then I use Black Beauty and Natural Buff to go in and do all the face details. So you can use the trick that I do sometimes is I'll use a just a buffing block like this, and I'll buff down the base first before I do my drawing, and then I'll just use a regular pencil and just pencil in the outline of what I want. And what's nice about that is if you make a mistake, you can use the eraser just to erase your lines and restart, or you can use the buffer block and just gently buff off the area that you made a mistake on and then just start over. So, or if you're more used to painting freehand just like that, you can just go ahead with your brush and just go ahead and do the outlines. So that's pretty much what I did here. So for this one, I'll be showing you the Mickey hands, which is going to match the other hand that I did. So I'm taking my white gel and I'm going to go ahead and draw the base. So you just want to do like a round circle. And then I'm going to paint the bottom of the glove. Okay, and then we're going to draw in the thumb. So if you notice in Mickey's hands, the thumb is always a little bit chunkier at the tip, working its way in. Same thing with the other digits. So you do like sort of a little ball and then just connect it and drag it down. And don't worry, if you make any mistakes, you can always go back in with your black afterwards and fix it. Okay, I'll do another one up here. And don't worry about the coloring, it doesn't have to be perfect right away. You're going to go back and do a second coat anyways. Okay, and if you still have room, you can just go ahead and fill in those blank spots with some more fingers. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cure that now. Okay, so once you're done, it'll look something like this, and then we're going to go in and add some black detailing afterwards. So for this hand, I used a basic white gel, and then I went in with Black Beauty and added same process as the other hand, except the opposite colors. So we did some black Mickey heads, and so now this is dry. So we're going to follow the pattern that I was doing earlier with the polka dots. We're going to do that for her bow as well. So you can use a dotting tool, or you can use your paintbrush, whichever you feel more comfortable with. I'll just go in with my paintbrush for this. So just add random dots wherever you feel like it. Okay, so once you're satisfied with that, we're going to go ahead and cure this now. Okay, so now we're back to our Mickey hands. I'm going to use some Black Beauty and a very, very fine detail brush. Actually, no, that's not true. I lied. I'm going to do a second coat of the white. So you just need to fill in wherever there's darker spots here. Okay, so we're just going to wait for the light there to cure. In the meantime, I'll show you what I did with the thumb. So I did a white base coat, and then I painted one big circle here with Black Beauty, and then 2 half circles. So I started first with curing the first big circle so that it wouldn't bleed everywhere into the other one. So you cure the first circle, add a second coat, then repeat the process. Do your circles here, cure, come back and do a second coat of your Black Beauty, and then I'll show you what I did with the glitter and all that stuff. So we'll just put that hand in here. Okay, so that's what your mini is going to look like when she's done. So now we're going to go and do the thumb, and I'll show you exactly how I did that. No. Okay, so I'm going to use a smaller brush to do the Mickey, just so I don't make any mistakes. Okay, so I'm going to go and use just a small little brush like this. And if ever you're wondering where I got these, I got them all on AliExpress. It was a bunch of different size brushes all in one kit, so it came in handy. Okay, so basically you start with a half circle. And don't worry if the color is not perfect right away, you'll be going back for another coat anyways. Okay, so it's going to look like that. So we're going to go in and cure that. Okay, so we're back to our Mickey hands now. So with the fine detail brush, basically what you want to do is sort of like a teardrop. It's going to be a little bit thicker at the top. Okay, just like that. And you're going to do the same thing for the one up here. Okay, just like that. And if ever you did any mistakes with your hands earlier, you can just go back with your detail brush and just touch up anything that needs to be done. So now we're going to cure this. Okay, so now we're back to our thumb. So we're going to go back in for a second coat. And then I'm going to start doing the ears. So it's best to start off with a smaller circle and then just work your way up. That way you can make sure that they're even. It looks pretty decent. Okay, so it's going to look something like that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cure that. Okay, so this hand is pretty much done, so I'm just going to go ahead and cap these with some gel polish. You can use whichever brand you like, and I usually like to mix it up a little bit and do half matte, half shiny. So I'm going to go ahead and use my favorite matte top coat and put that for Mickey. And then I'm going to use a gel top coat for the other ones. Okay, and then we're gonna, oh, hang on. Okay, so we're gonna go and cure these. Okay, and then we're back to our thumb. So again, grab a second coat of the Black Beauty. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's our second coat. So once the light is done, we're going to go and cure this one. Okay, so now we're going to cure your thumb.